Title: Girlfriend wanted an open relationship but changed her tune when I kicked her out of the house. I met my girlfriend in March 2018. She was 24 and I am 27 years old. Interestingly enough, we met at my favorite restaurant. She was waiting tables. I thought she was cute, so I start tipping her enough to get her attention. We exchanged numbers, and when we got talking, I found out that we had a lot in common. Especially I found out that she is a gamer like me, and she had 2 cute dogs. I like animals, and we vibe really well. Not long after, she was coming to my place often to play video games and hang out. We started a romantic relationship. Her sex drive was amazing. Our relationship was going strong till August, when I decided to ask her to move in with me because she was at my house all the time, and some of her belongings were taking over my closet and personal space. Her toothbrush and makeup are on my bathroom cabinet, and her dogs were always in my backyard, and they love it, so all I was doing was making her move official. She was living with her parent, and they were tired of cleaning after her pets. Moreover, she hated living with her parent, and she doesn't have to pay rent if she lives with me. Early in our relationship, her libido was off the roof. At least she made me believe it was. She was initiating sex most of the time, which is something I didn't experience in my previous relationship, and we were going at it like bunnies at least once a day. Everything seemed great. I was with the hottest girl I have ever been with, and we were having amazing sex every day. What else could a guy ask for? What else could a guy want? What else could go wrong? I didn't ask her to pay rent because I don't mind being the sole breadwinner. Come to find out, after she moved in, not so long after, I realized what a huge mistake it was. She doesn't clean after herself, and she just plays video game all night and wouldn't come to bed early. She doesn't even walk her dogs. I had to do it for her and clean their poop in my backyard. It was cute at first because I will play video game with her, and I like living in a clean house, so I will clean after her and her dogs. But then it became normal. I will ask her to clean up after herself and do laundry. She would do it for a while and then stop, and then I have to remind her again. I got tired of reminding her and started doing all the chores around the house. She doesn't pay rent and doesn't clean, doesn't cook, and always wanted to eat out. I tolerated it because she was hot, we got along, and I thought it was about time I settled down because I work 60 hours and 6 days a week. I don't have time to be going out to clubs or bars, and dating sites are atrocious because I don't have time to date girls to find the right one, because most women want you to take them out, which is time that I don't have. I do construction, so there is hardly any opportunity to meet women. I decided to settle for her despite all her flaws, and I thought I could handle it. Around the end of 2018, our bedroom life slowly tapered off. It went from once a day to about once a week. I was the only one initiating. Her excuse is always that she is tired and her job at the restaurant is stressful. I would remind her that I work in construction and my job requires me to be on my feet all day, and I would still come home, clean the house, cook, walk the dogs, and she still complains that she is tired. Around December 2018, I was seriously reconsidering our relationship because I felt like we were growing distant. That was until I went to a Christmas dinner with family and friends and invited her over. She was the star of the show. Everyone loves her. Some of my friends whom I respect kept asking me how I scored such a hot girl, and that boosted my ego and reputation. I was convinced that she was going to be the woman I will end up with despite all her flaws. Fast forward to early 2019 when COVID hit, she lost her job. I was still employed, so it didn't make a difference. When I heard that she lost her job, I was kind of happy because I know she would no longer have any excuse of being tired for sex or helping around the house more often. But boy was I wrong. She became even more lazier than before. All she does was play video game and ask me for money for her to order food. When I refused to give her money and tell her to go in the kitchen and cook, she would tell me that I am not being supportive of her. I had a lot of male video game friends that we both play with sometimes. She will go on to tell them about our relationship, and she would tell me that her online video game friends care more about her than I do, and I will respond that if they care more about her, then she should tell them to send her money for rent and food. She would respond by going crazy, telling me that I am emotionally abusive and that her online video game friends told her that I don't deserve her. Most of the time I will let her win the argument because I am not confrontational till I am pushed to the edge. During lockdown, I was doing the cooking while she was home all day. It became normal for me to work and cook, clean, walk the dog while she contributed nothing to my life. I started to weigh the option of not having her in my life, but the only pro I come up with is that we get along well, and I have someone to talk to when I come back from work, and as a man it can be lonely sometimes, and she is very fun to talk to. One day during the COVID lockdown, I came back from work and made dinner. We sat on the dining table to eat the meal that I have cooked. Halfway through the meal she shocked me by telling me that she wanted to open the relationship. I was shocked by this and almost choked on my food. I told her that I would never go for that, and that's not the type of relationship I want. She responded that she has been depressed for a while and she is not happy, and she blamed me for not noticing that she is not happy. She claims that she even thought about deleting herself. And I responded by asking her how banging other men is going to prevent her from deleting herself. She told me she decided she was polyamorous and wanted to explore that side of her. She tried to frame it like it was not just her trying to bang other dudes. She told me that her video game friend and others agreed with her and have been telling her for months that she deserves better, and she realized that was what was missing in her life. She then began trying to convince me that poly is some kind of new age enlightenment, and she is raising her vibration by some way effing other guys and me not being jealous, and I should raise my vibration well by accepting her choices. She had this all planned out like she thought it through. She been unemployed since COVID, she doesn't pay rent, she doesn't cook or clean or walk her own damn dogs. I work more than 60 hours a week to support her ungrateful arse so she can sit at home and do nothing but play video games and flirt with people only who apparently agree I'm not enough for her. She doesn't do anything for the two dogs brought into the relationship. She doesn't do anything for me but the small conversation and unenthusiastic sex every once in a while. And the worst part is that she wasn't even asking me. It wasn't like a question. She just said that she now wanted to open the relationship and acted like I was just going to have to deal with it, like I have no say or choice in that matter. If anything, that selfish bitch is the reason our relationship has been less and affectionless for some time. She even tried to shame and guilt me when I told her that I am not going for that. She called me unspiritual and unenlightened to the 21st century. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was like one of those mind job from a charismatic Pentecostal preacher. She tried to tell me that no one man can fulfill everything she needs. Think of it like a password. You're only one piece that fits to me whole, and that I need to stop taking it personally. I told her that I take it personal because we are in a relationship. I seriously thought she had been brainwashed. I felt like I have had enough of this nonsense. I stood up and went to the other side of the table where she was eating and grabbed the plate of food that she was eating with and throw it in the sink. I told her to pack her things and grab her effing dogs and get the EFF out of my house in 10 minutes. Funny enough how her enlightened arse changed her tune when she realizes that I was serious and she was about to be homeless. I told her to go complete her password somewhere else because I had enough of her SHT. Her shaming quickly turned to apologizing and begging me to stay with her, but it was already too late. I have had enough. The devil part of me took over. I guess the devil part of me couldn't stand how my softer side has gotten. I just realized how I have allowed this manipulative bitch to wiggle her lazy arse into my life and try to turn me into a money-providing, house slave cuck. I throw her thing out of my house that night, everything she got. Even her dogs too. She refuses to leave and was fighting me. The neighbors called the police, and they showed up. She accused me of kicking her out of our home, but I told them that she is trespassing. Her name is not on my mortgage, and we are not married. She has no right to be in my house. She cried a lot more when I told her that I wouldn't allow her to take the computer that I bought for her, which she was using to tell other guys how terrible I am and how I don't deserve her. While the police were there, she called her parent and they helped pick up her things. I know how much she hates them, so I knew she is living in misery. Ever since I kicked her out, she had made it her mission to contact everyone I know, telling them all types of lies about me, telling them that I am gay, and that I am ugly and don't deserve her, and that I am physically and emotionally abusive toward her, and I abused her dogs too, basically throwing the kitchen sink at me and doing everything to destroy my reputation. I block her on my social media, and any friends of mine that didn't know the full story and trying to blame me, I block them too, because I am not going to air my dirty laundry in public. Story 2 title: Girlfriend wanted an open relationship when she found out I had cancer and was less active in bed, so here's my story. Not sure what I am looking for by posting this, but here we are. My girlfriend is 29 and I am 31. We have been in a relationship for 5 years. We met at a friend's party and we hit it off right away. I love her very much, and up until a year ago we have been saving for our marriage. What happened about a year ago changed my life forever. I went for a checkup because I was having an episode, so I went to the hospital and found out that I had cancer. I don't want to go into specifics, but I went home and told my girlfriend, and we were both devastated. I started treatment immediately, and that took a toll on our relationship. Few months into treatment, I was showing a lot of progress, and the doctor told me that because we caught it early, I will defeat this thing, but that would require a commitment from me. Now I have to mention that I became friends with one attractive nurse at the hospital, but it was nothing sexual since we are both in a relationship. The treatment and medication were making me weak so much that I had to cut back my hours at work. We share a mortgage together, and I was making most of the contribution. I made more than my girlfriend when I was working full-time, but now that I was working part-time, she was now contributing more on our mortgage than I was. I was doing as much as I could before my cancer. The financial contribution was 80-20, now it's more like 40-60, with her paying 60 and she is having to take on more hours. Few months into treatment, my girlfriend started acting different towards me. I thought maybe my inability to spend more time with her and me being tired all the time is affecting our relationship, so I tried my best to help around the house more and be more affectionate toward her. I thought I was making progress for a while till I came home one day and saw her upset and watching TV in the living room. I greeted her and she didn't respond, so I thought she was having one of her mood swings over again. I was too tired to deal with that, so I went to clean myself up. When I came back to the living room, she was still looking sad, so I went to the couch where she was sitting to comfort her and ask her what was going on. She looked at me and said something that sank my heart in my stomach. She said she is no longer happy in our relationship. I knew that I needed her now than ever, and I told her that I have been trying to do everything I could because I realized that she is not happy. I asked her what she would like me to do to make things better, and she proposed that we should open our relationship. I was shocked by that, and I told her that I understand how she feels about my illness, but everything would get better soon, and the doctor said so, but while I am going through the treatment it would seem like I am not because of the chemo and the medications that I am on. She insisted on having an open relationship, and that was the only way that we could save our relationship. We kind of went to bed that night without me accepting to being in an open relationship. I am not stupid. I knew that for her to bring up an open relationship she must have been thinking about it for a while, and maybe had someone in mind, but it hurts so much to know that someone that I have hoped to spend the rest of my life with was abandoning me at the time I needed her the most. I went about my day trying to ignore the topic anytime she brings it up. In my naive mind at the time I thought that if I ignore it long enough, she will stop talking about it and it would go away. In the next few weeks, I sank my head in the sand and tried as much as I could to make up for the man I used to be before I had cancer. But I couldn't make up for the financial contribution because I wasn't working more hours and my girlfriend was having to contribute more financially. I decided to take out a loan to take the pressure off her and get things back to where it was supposed to be. When I told her that I will be contributing more, she didn't ask me where I got the money from or how, and she seemed indifferent, almost like it wasn't about the money. I thought I took out the loan for nothing and the relationship was already over. I returned the loan as it didn't serve the purpose I intended for it to. It never occurred to me that she has already started seeing other people till she started coming home late and wouldn't pick up the phone or no longer come along with me to the hospital. In time I started to feel like she was more like a roommate than my girlfriend, and I was fighting the battle alone. I had a serious episode one day while I was at work and had to be rushed to the hospital. My coworker reached out to her and she showed up at the hospital. For the very first time I saw that she cares because she was crying and wouldn't leave my bedside. I felt warm inside to know that she actually still cares about me. Maybe she felt how it feel like not to have me around. Being next to her that moment felt the world to me. The doctor said that I would be discharged the following day. My girlfriend insisted on staying in the hospital with me overnight even though she was supposed to go to work the following day. That night while I was in the hospital with her on my side as we talked about our relationship, I promised that I would marry her after I recovered, and we talked about our future. I wanted us to go for therapy to help build back our relationship. When she went to sleep on the hospital chair and the light on her phone kept coming on and on like someone is texting her. Since I couldn't go to sleep, I decided to check her phone. I got up from the hospital bed and picked up her phone on the table. I knew her password, so I unlocked her phone. I saw a text message from a number with no name. I opened the message and the guy was asking her if she was going to show up for their date. To get more time on her phone, I limped with the phone to the bathroom so she wouldn't catch me snooping at her private text message if she woke up. I found out that she recently met this guy, but they haven't done anything. I looked through her messages and found a lot of numbers with no name but long sexting threads. I found out that she had been exchanging dirty pictures with these men and have met with at least 2 of them for the past 2 weeks. That was when I realized that even though I keep ignoring her desire for an open relationship, she had already went for it whether I wanted it or not. I had enough evidence to confront her, but I was not able to dump her, at least not with my condition. I came out of the bathroom with a broken heart. I remember looking at her while she slept, and the care and love I had for her turned to anger and hate. I didn't say anything to her about that the following day or the morning after I was home with her. For once I realized that coming home late from work, not answering her phone was because she had been sleeping with multiple men while I was sick with cancer. It was clear to me then that our relationship was over. I remember asking her during those troubled times what she wanted in our relationship, and she looked at me strangely and asked me why I was asking her such strange questions. I asked her if she loved me, and she looked at me strange. For the very first time in our relationship, I saw her for who she was. I was just a utility for her. Looking back, that was when I emotionally checked out from the relationship. We continued to sleep in the same bed, and I acted like the relationship was normal, except that I stopped all forms of physical intimacy with her. It wasn't surprising that she didn't notice because she was already getting her fix from somewhere else. Not so long after that, about 4 months into my treatment, I became close with a nurse that works at the hospital I was receiving my treatment. She knew I was in a relationship because my girlfriend used to come with me to the hospital because sometime I would need someone to drive me home. We would flirt, but it went nowhere because we knew we were both in a committed relationship. At least, I thought I was. Now that I knew my relationship with my girlfriend could be over at any time, I wanted to pursue my interest in the nurse, hoping it would go somewhere. My girlfriend wasn't aware that I knew she was cheating on me with multiple men. When the nurse asked me why my girlfriend is no longer coming with me, I told her that our relationship was in trouble. I was visiting the hospital 3 times a week and our conversation was getting more personal. I wasn't sure whether she was interested in me or if she was just being polite and I was just catching feelings because of what my girlfriend had done to me. What was more embarrassing was that I invited her to lunch one day and she turned me down. It was a Friday, so I had the weekend to think through the embarrassment. When I went to my next appointment, she acted like I didn't just invited her to a pseudo date the week before. I tried not to invest too much in our conversation as before and kept it professional, but I noticed that she was still asking me more about my personal life and things that have nothing to do with my health, still trying to maintain the relationship we had before. I thought it may be common with patients falling for their nurse, so I try not to invest too much in her. Couple of weeks later, she told me that she would take me up on my offer to lunch, which surprised me. Our lunch was very friendly, but it was hard for me not to express my romantic interest towards her. She told me that she is in a relationship. Although she likes me, she wouldn't cheat on her partner. She said that I was feeling that way because I just want someone and I am basically looking for a rebound. I knew she was into me, otherwise she wouldn't have gone to lunch with me, but she isn't willing to cheat or leave her partner with someone that didn't know what he wants. That lit a fire under me. I can't continue the fake relationship with my girlfriend anymore. I went to more lunch date with the nurse and even moved my appointments to coincide with her lunchtime so she can find an excuse to spend time with me. This continued for a few months till the cancer was completely gone and I started weaning myself of the medication and my treatment and was taking more hours at work. I come home one night after giving it much thought and told my girlfriend that our relationship was over and we need to sell the house and go our separate ways. To be honest, I thought she wouldn't care because I knew she had continuously cheated on me and I don't have to bring it all up, but she was surprised and shocked that I was going to break up with her, and she wasn't acting. I had to bring up the fact that she was cheating on me, and we haven't been intimating for months. When she denied that she ever cheated on me, I told her to show me her phone, which she refuses. I told her that I have seen all the text messages, and I know she is sleeping with other guys and having a one-sided open relationship. She even accused me of cheating, which was why I wasn't initiating sex, and I told her that I wasn't interested in sex with her because it would repulse me knowing that she is sleeping with other men. She accuses me of throwing away 5 years of her life, and I responded that she did that herself. She blamed me for everything and even blamed me for my cancer as well. I went to stay with my brother that night because she was saying whatever she could to hurt me, and I was afraid I would explode and take my anger on her, which was what she wanted. The following day she called me telling me to come back, and I told her that we need to get in touch with a real estate agent and sell the home. I hired a real estate agent, but my cheating girlfriend refused to accept that our relationship is over, but I'm not sure what to do next because the house is in both of our names, and she is trying to do whatever she can to keep in touch with me, and I can't go no contact till we sell the home. I have already told the nurse about our breakup. My appointment is down to once a week, but I text her almost every day, but I am apprehensive about it because the last time we met she was considering breaking up with her boyfriend. I feel guilty that she would break up with her happy relationship because she had nothing but good things to say about her partner. So what do you guys think I should do? Story 3 title: I heard a voice when I was talking to my girlfriend on the phone. It was clearly a man's voice. We were high school sweethearts. I took her V-card and we basically felt like the perfect match for each other. I soon left to college, and she was a grade younger than me. I also had a best friend at the time that delayed going to college by a year because of some personal issues. The college I went to was more than 7 hours drive away from home. Before I left for college, we agreed to each other not to date anyone else and to remain in a relationship. When I went to college, I did see many options and had a lot of temptation, but I resisted the urge to cheat. During my first semester in college, we were constantly keeping in touch by phone, and I thought our relationship was going strong, but one event led me to believe that she was cheating on me. It was a Saturday evening. My friends were going out and I decided to sleep in because I was having a headache. I went to fall asleep, but sleep wouldn't come. It was late, right about 11 p.m. or so, and I know my girlfriend would be in bed, but I decided to call her anyway because I knew she wouldn't mind. It took her a while to answer, which was understandable at the time. During our conversation, I noticed a noise in the background, and I asked her if she was staying at her friend's place, and she said no. Her voice was shaking like she was out of breath, but it didn't occur to me what she was doing till I heard a voice in the background the second time. It was clearly a man's voice. I asked her who was that, and she said nobody. I asked her the second time, and the phone line went dead. I called her back several times that night, and she didn't pick up. I remembered that night vividly because I couldn't go back to sleep. The following morning, she called me back and told me that her younger brother snatched her phone. I didn't believe her, but I have no evidence to prove that she was having sex with another man while I was on the phone with her. I tried to get her to admit to it, but she made me seem like I was being paranoid. She made me feel like I was crazy and hallucinating, and frankly, I started to believe her because I had no evidence and I was having a headache and was feeling sick, so maybe she was right. I was hallucinating. I forgave her, and we kept going in our relationship. I can't lie, I struggled with trusting her because of sometimes when I call her, she wouldn't answer, so I was drawing conclusions in my mind, and started seeking outside of our relationships, and when I went home for the holidays she was going through my phone and saw that I am texting some females a few times, but no intercourse took place, just flirting. In retrospect, I believe I did it because still had questions about that night when I was on the phone with her. She was upset that I was talking to other girls, and she broke up with me, but the breakups were never too long, about a week or two, longest a few months, but she would always come back. Since there was so much mistrust in our relationship, I decided to live the playboy life now that I am young and in college because I may never have a chance to experience that. I tried to live the college life and broke up with her previously, trying to explain my issue and that maybe I needed to get it out my system. Back then, I truly felt weak, as if I had no discipline or loyalty to the one I loved. We later got back together, and I reassured her that the women I talked to was purely entertainment and never got physical. I did not want to date, feed, or marry them. But she never understood truly. She graduated high school and got admitted to same college as me. Mind you, we were not roommate at the time. Right about the same time, my best friend also joined me in college, and we were roommate with 2 other kids. Fast forward a few months later, she set me up by using a female friend of hers that hit up asking if we were not together. I got baited and sent her the "I'm not sure" text, which found its way to my GF. She went off on me and broke up with me. She then gave me another chance, but I can see the distance and the repair needed in our relationship. One day I was out with my friend across town to attend a birthday party. After the event, I wanted to use his phone to call Uber because my phone was dying, while he left to use the bathroom. For some reason, after I called the Uber, I saw a notification on Instagram and intentionally opened it like it was my phone. It was a direct message, and it was from my girlfriend. I saw some Instagram chats from my best friend and her just sharing casual office memes and little stuff like that. Then I read "I can't be your distraction forever" with her replying, "Why? It's a damn good distraction," which followed with him asking what she wanted for herself. She went on a tangent telling him, then ended with "I also want to do something else, but the timing's just never right." I know what she meant by that, but I guess he didn't. He accused her of holding secrets from him. And she told him she would tell him soon when the time was right. Reading this had my blood pressure on a different high. I wanted to confront my friend when he came back from the bathroom, but I controlled myself and handled my emotion. I was hoping to come up with a good time to look at his phone or get more evidence, otherwise they would deny it. It was a tense Uber ride home. The next day I gathered my thoughts and ambushed her with the messages and made it seem like my best friend told me everything. I asked her if there were anything she wanted to get off her chest. She replied with, "What did he say? What did he say? What did he say?" Getting louder and more frantic with the next. And she kept repeating when I held strong and said, "You tell me, you sound like you got something to say." She repeated, "What did he say? What did he say? What did he say?" I kept my sane composure, repeating myself. Then a whole shift of moods happened. She stopped yelling, looked at me, chuckled, and smiled and said, "That shit hurts, huh?" 3 times. Come to find out, my best friend had filled her head with all this lies about me cheating on her, and she was out for revenge against me. Each time she said it, the stab dug deeper. I continued to ask, "What you did?" She replied with, "What I didn't F him." In my head I was like, I didn't ask if you did, I just wanted to know what the extent of their relationship. She then tells me, "He's been your biggest op for years now. He would tell me if you were cheating and hint at it. He would also talk about you negative and never had nothing good to say about you." So I confronted her about lying about her brother snatching her phone, and she finally came clean and admitted that she was having sex with my best friend, and they have been having sex behind my back for over a year. She claimed that my best friend was telling her how I was cheating on her in college and she wanted to hurt me, so she slept with my best friend thinking it would be a one-time thing, but it just went on and on. I told her why she didn't just break up with me. She claimed she loved me and that we were even. Moreover, she wanted to be with me. I told her that I never cheated on her and that my friend lied to her. But it doesn't really matter because we are through. I went back and confronted him about sleeping with my girlfriend behind my back. I confronted him in front of my other roommates, and they too saw his lying face. I told him that we are no longer friends, and he can go ahead and carry on with her. My roommate were supportive as well, and they asked my former best friend that he should get another place next semester because they no longer wish to have him there. Since he signs a lease, we have a few more months before the lease will be over. He tries to avoid me around the apartment the best he could, and the worst part is that I have to run into him every once in a while. My ex-girl called me several times till I blocked her. She tries to send messages through her friend, and I've blocked her friend as well. We have broken off and on for a while, but this time is different. My 2 most trusted people betray me, and that's something I will never